Okay, so we're going to be doing a step-by-step process on how we're making our supports for the bound newspaper journals. We're going to start with our corrugated board here, which Heidi's going to take. As previously mentioned, each of the dimensions of these bound newspapers are going to be a little bit different. So Heidi beforehand, go ahead and she measured the width and length of everything, and then also checking the height of the spine, so that way we're protecting them. So Heidi is going to be measuring everything out here.
Yep. So each time that we have groups of books, I'm kind of categorizing them in different areas. I'm giving myself just a little smidgen of extra room as I go. So I'm going to measure one off. My outside border is going to be 32 by 25. So I'll be cutting down this board.
You want to switch over to her side. I'm going to be working on my support over here.
It's going to be 32. Just make sure that we've got each one is butted up against the top, and 32.
Since Heidi and I are both vertically challenged, we're also using a stool.
Yes. I always have to use this tool. Once I get the border done, I can get the excess cut off, and then I can mark my lines for scoring. So that I've given enough room for the spine. So 1.5 inches. Our score lines and cut lines marked off for the actual book. I am going to cut out these tabs at the end because I do not need them. I don't want these to bend all the way through, so I'm going to score them with this little round scoring tool, and that will just kind of force a little bend in this so that it will fold over the book without any actual cutting. This with the T-square, put a straighter line. This is just basically pushing pressure into this foam core, this archival foam core. I have to bend these flaps as well. I use the T-square for this. Wind up and score. Here's the moment of truth. You bring your actual book over. This gives on the outside edge, it gives a really nice bend in it without being cut all the way through, so you don't have to tape anything there.
Okay, so the next steps after Heidi is done scoring the boxes and supports, basically is we're gonna be putting the straps on. So this way we can tie the flaps on the end here. If you wanna come in a little bit closer, we'll take a look at the different types of materials that we're using. So I have my X-Acto knife, my pencil, my ruler, my scissors, and then we found this item, I'm just calling it my hook. It's nice so that way you can hook the twill tape. We have this little spatula thing that we'll be using a little bit later. I got a paintbrush. We'll talk about the sponges in a hot second here. I got my acrylic adhesive. I got my twill tape, which we've been measuring out to 45 inches. You need 4 of those. And then we also have our gum tape. So you'll also need 4 of these. So, before any of that really starts, basically Heidi and I have been handling these books, and these books have not been cleaned in a long time. So if you take a notice, we just put the book down for a little bit down here, and you'll already see that there is some dust already on the books. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take makeup sponges and you're gonna gently go over the cover of the books. And I'll probably use this one because I already kind of used that one a bit. Gentle strokes, you want to make sure that you're not taking away any of the actual binding itself, but a lot of the dust and debris will come off there. So once that's done, the book can be set aside. Also make sure that you documenting the object ID number on those, so that way you can put it on the outside here. All right, so the first thing I did is I'm gonna need to cut out slits for the twill tape to go in and out of. So I took my ruler over here, I measured out to about 4.5 inches, then I did to 1 inch height, measured that off, and then it will be about 3/4 of an inch long. That's how long the wide the twill tape is. So once I have that all measured out, I take my X-Acto knife. I don't know if you want to come in a little bit here, Kendall. So I already did this, but the measurements I've cut through. And then where this bend is right here, you're going to also do another slit that's the same length as the one up above here. So I've already done that. So you'll have 4 on this side, 4 on this side, and then same as the other ways. A lot of this is going to be repetition. So we're gonna flip this back over. I already cut out the twill tape, so there's no problem there. I am gonna also cut out the gum tape. I learned this from experience because I accidentally cut the twill tape a couple of times while I was putting the gum tape over and trying to cut that out. So we're just gonna cut out one more of those here. I wanna make sure there's just a little bit of an overhang. Okay. So you're gonna take your twill tape. You're just gonna give it a little bit right here. So you're gonna hold it over the first slit at the top here, not the slit on the fold. We're gonna take our spatula and we're gonna tuck in the twill tape so that way it goes through the slit. Then pull out to the bottom. Then I like to make sure that it lays nice and flat in there. Sometimes you might need to take the X-Acto knife to go in and out of the slit there to make it a little bit wider. And then I will basically do this all the way around the box. So I'm not gonna let you wait for that. Okay, so all of the twill tape is now through the first slot on both sides. I skipped a step over on this side, but we'll show what we're doing next. So we basically just have the twill tape in the top slit right now going down. We're gonna flip the box over, so we're now on the inside, and we're basically gonna do the exact opposite. So we're just gonna tuck this in, so that way the twill is going through. We'll pull that through. And this is what it will look like on this side. So this is where you're gonna be tying it towards the end here. So I'm just gonna go around and do that real quick, and then we'll show you what that plan looks like in the end. Okay, so once you got the twill in and out of the slits, this is what it should look like on the front side, or we'll say the outside. And this is what it will look like on the inside. Now, I kind of want to make sure that these are somewhat the same length, so we're going to make them a little bit around 11 inches. So I'm going to be pulling this a little bit forward. It's kind of like a corset, you just got to fiddle with it for a little bit. So I go from the second slit down, that's around 11. So I kind of want to make it somewhat uniform. Okay, so it's around 11. Now the next step, you can do it kind of based on how you feel comfortable with. This is just how I'm doing it. So what we're gonna have to do next is take our acrylic adhesive right here, which is basically our glue. We're gonna be taking our paint, and we're basically gonna, we're going to glue down this middle part here so it's not moving at all. And that way you're not tugging it completely to one side. Because after we're done with that, we're gonna take the gum tape and place it over the top here. So that way nothing is really moving at all. So this is just the way I like to do it. You could do it where you don't tuck in the twill tape yet. You just do one side and then you'll glue as you go and then tuck them in. I just like doing it this way. So I'll just lift it up a little bit, and you can kind of follow the shadow line to keep straight. And then you have to do it to all four. Okay. So then you'll just press it down there, but we won't make you wait. Okay, so all the twill tape is now glued down, and it is time for the gum tape, which is my favorite step actually. So I'm just gonna lay it over here to make sure that it will align good. I wanna make sure I'll keep it straight. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to fold over this way where the fold of the box is, and then I'll do it over on the same side over here as well. I'll show you why in a bit. Okay, time to take my X-Acto knife. I'm gonna find where that second slit is and where the twill tape meets. I'm gonna cut, score along that bit. There we go, okay. That so aligns good. I'm gonna take my hook here. I'm gonna feed it along the slit on the gum tape so that way I can hook underneath and I can hook up the twill tape and then help pull that forwards. Or you could just feed it a normal way. So I want, on both sides, I want the twill tape to be on top here at the end of this fold. So we're gonna tuck this up. Next, we're gonna take our sponge and our water, and we're going to put it over the gum tape right here so it gets nice and tacky. I'm gonna fold this over here so that way it'll fix onto the board. And I'll tuck this back. Once I'm done with all the gum tape, there's gonna be a little bit of overhang, so I'll go back with the X-Acto knife to clean it up a little bit. Okay. I don't know why I find this part so satisfying. So I take the sponge again, and that fold line that you had will match up to where the twill tape comes out over here. So you're basically just gonna sponge to this fold line. Make sure it's nice and wet so that way it'll fix. And of course nothing is, there we go. And then you're gonna line it up. You're gonna press it down. And if you really want to make sure that these sides are nice, you can take the bone folder here, and you can go along the side. So this way, the twill tape is glued down so that way it won't move. And then the gum tape is over it so that way the twill tape isn't catching on anything. So basically we're gonna do the exact same thing again. Line up to both ends. Here's where the fold is on one side. Here's the fold for the other side. Take our X-Acto knife. out. Have one. Pull up. This will go up. Fold this over. Sponge. Make sure that's straight again. Oops. There's our fold. Shades like it's nice and wet. We want it to be tacky. Maybe a little bit more. There we go. Okay, then we'll do the other two. Okay, so I wrapped everything up with the gum tape, and this is what it's going to look like on the outside here. I also trimmed off the edges. So now we have the tape, and it's time to put the book in. So, excuse me, Heidi, grab the book. Alright, so place this in. The spine is going to be facing outwards. And the reason why we didn't completely enclose the support is because if we enclose the support, the way that you would get the book out is by taking it by the spine, which is the most vulnerable part of these bound journals. So we don't want anybody actually handling the spine or the outside areas here. So we want to make sure that you're able to kind of dismantle the box. This is why we have the ties on the side here. So I'm just going to fold it over. Additionally, if you'll notice, I put the object ID on the outside here, so that way you know which book it is. There's the spine right there. And then we'll just tie them up on the side here. So this is what it looks like once it's all said and finished, and it's nice and supported, and we'll be able to stack these on top of each other once we put them back on the racks. But that's it. That's all the steps it took to make one support. Now what, 260 something more to go.